But if James goes to Brooklyn, then I'll see y'all in 2022 because they'll get 2020-21. Best tweet of the weekend. Chris Broussard is joining us now. Broussard, what do you make of this? You confident that Harden to the Brooklyn Nets would even work?
No, not at all. These three pieces don't fit. It's just as simple as that. You got three guys who are used to having the ball in their hands. None of them move well without the basketball, except maybe Kevin Durant because of his time in Golden State. But even there, in his second year in Golden State, he was bucking the system. And that almost cost him in the series against Houston when he wanted to play more isolation. Look, when a big three doesn't fit together, one of the three has to step back and give up a lot of his game. Which one of these guys is willing to do that? It's possible that it could work in terms of them getting to the finals and having a shot at winning it just because they're so talented. Sheer talent alone, you got three tremendous one-on-one players. So they would certainly be good just based on that. But it is not a good fit. If I had to pick one to have the ball in his hands, it'd be James Harden. He's best suited to have his scoring average drop by about 10 points and then lead the team in assists. But is he willing to do that? Is Kyrie willing to play off the ball? Those are the questions that you have to ask here. If James Harden is looking to move, his number one destination should be Philadelphia for Ben Simmons. And the same goes for Houston because I'd rather have Simmons than anything Brooklyn can offer.
So let me talk about the Nets side of this and then get into why I don't think this will happen. I think a KD and Harden duo would be absolutely unbelievable. The only reason it wouldn't be the best duo in basketball is because LeBron and Anthony Davis are still out there with the Lakers. But in most years, that would be the best 1-2 punch in the league. The problem is the Kyrie piece. And while the reporting is Harden really likes the idea of this, I cannot imagine that Kyrie likes the idea of this whatsoever. And if this were to happen, I would imagine this time a year from now, we'd be talking about the Nets trading Kyrie because those three guys do not work together, all three of them. Forget what they'd be on the defensive side of the ball. The skill sets, to Broussard's point, are too redundant. But the reason I think it's something of a moot point is because Rafael Stone, Daryl Morey's protege, who's the new GM in Houston, his first move is not going to be trading James Harden and not getting a blue chipper in return. You are absolutely right, Broussard, that if Harden's available, Ben Simmons makes more sense. If Danny Ainge were ever willing to actually try to win a championship, 1-for-1, Harden for Tatum is a really interesting trade. There are so many teams that would give up a better player with respect than Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie for the three-time reigning scoring champ and a guy that's top 5 in the MVP every single year. And this is not a situation where Harden can just pick his spot. Well, Brandon, they do. He has 3 years left on his contract.
But that doesn't matter. But as a player, when you don't want to be somewhere, it doesn't matter if you have 10 years left on your deal. You can force your way out of it. You can make things super ugly for a team and an organization and owner. Now, I don't see James Harden doing this, but absolutely he has leverage. They're not, look, if you're getting rid of Westbrook, he doesn't want to be there, then what do you have? If you don't have, teams are sitting back and they know, like, well, if Harden wants out, we don't have to throw everything at him. They can sit back and wait and let this thing play out and let it get ugly. So I disagree with you, Nick. I think James Harden has a lot of leverage. Now, to answer the question, could this work?
Can I just respond to that real quick, Brandon? Brandon, just real quick, because I think we actually agree. I think Harden has immense leverage to get out of Houston. I totally agree he can force his way out. I do not think he has immense leverage on where he lands because he's not going to retire. He's got 3 years left on his contract, 2 plus an option. And so if you send him to Philly or where someone that can give you something better than Brooklyn, then I do think he has leverage to force his way out, but not pick his destination a la Anthony Davis. But go ahead, the fit. If he were to go to Brooklyn, what do you think of the fit there?
Yeah, but I do agree with you that I do think the best landing spot would be Philly for him. And you know, the question, would this work? Chris, absolutely it can work. Like, what do you think? You've been around the game way too long. You've seen players adapt. You've seen players adjust. James Harden last year tried to adjust. He started playing defense. He dominates the ball.
Really?
And what did he do in the bubble? He started dishing. He started trying to play off the ball. So, yes, this can work. Think about the example you just used. The Golden State Warriors, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and KD. Yep. They made it work. They got a ship out of it. So why can't the Nets? Like, yes, it can absolutely work. But I will say this.
Go ahead.
No, I will say this. So I'm answering the question. It can absolutely work. But now here's where I got to develop and grow. Because I'm not like you guys, the insiders, and you have sources and scoops. Look, I spent 3 years in Brooklyn when I was playing for the Jets and the Giants. I know a few people in Brooklyn, and they don't think that this is what they need. They actually think when you throw a list out there of potentials, DeMar Rosen could actually be a better fit for them. So I do agree with you when it comes down to fit does matter. But then when you look at if this happened, could they make it work? I absolutely think they could.
It's a possibility, like I said, just based on sheer talent, they may be able to get to the finals. But you mentioned Golden State. Klay and Steph don't dominate the basketball. They don't over-dribble. They're obviously better shooters than Kyrie and Harden, as well as those two shoot. And they move better without the ball. Just dropping 3 Hall of Famers together, even in their prime, does not mean it's going to work. Remember, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon. It didn't work. Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler. It didn't work. It doesn't. People have to understand. You can't just throw 3 great players together.
You going back to when I was you going back to when I was in elementary school. You know I don't remember those damn games. Like,
I'm a historian, Brandon.
Wilds, go ahead.
Broussard.
Historian, NBA
you think
historian.
Their ceiling is what? The finals? And then they flame out?
Ceiling?
Because if their ceiling is what's their ceiling?
Look, I would not write them off to have a chance to win a championship. I definitely think they could get to the finals. It does. They don't fit. It could flame out. Look, but they would have potential. Harden has shown he can play more versatile basketball, but at this point in his career, after all these MVP scoring titles, is he willing to do that? Even when they were in Oklahoma City together with Westbrook instead of Kyrie, Harden had to come off the bench. Because as I said, when a big 3 doesn't fit, one of them has to take a back seat and kind of be a role player, a la Kevin Love, a la Chris Bosh. So you're talking about a chemistry experiment. And potentially it could be great, but a very good potential that it would disappoint.
All right, well, there was another NBA nugget that caught our eye yesterday. Reported trade between the Lakers and Thunder that would